The practice of this Kayastharyam is over now. Hari Om Tat Sat. If you wish to lie down and relax, please feel free to do so. There are so many approaches in the traditions of yoga, and in Hatha Yoga, it is out of the compassion of the rishis that this system has been established. For those people who already have a refined mind, for those people who have a mind which doesn't create problems for them, where there are no conflicts, where the conflicts have already been resolved due to understanding, due to maturity, due to a higher level of capability in the personality. For such people, the practice of meditation will be effortless. It will happen on its own. And for such people, there is no need to do the practices of asanas or pranayama or pratyahara or dharana. Dhyanam, the spontaneous absorption of the mind into the higher reality, happens on its own. But not everybody is in that state. Not everybody is capable of dropping the awareness of external life and directly becoming absorbed in the state of meditation. For a whole lot of people, there are limitations in their personality. There are physical limitations, there are vital limitations, there are emotional limitations, intellectual limitations, psychic limitations, karmic limitations. And limitations that are caused by a wrong way of living, limitations of the family, and limitations of relationships with the world. So what do such people do who cannot have the qualification spontaneously? It is for such people that the sadhanas of yoga have been developed and provided by our rishis. And for people who are physically oriented, who have limitations in the physical dimension itself, who have health disorders, first that has to be addressed. And for people who have imbalances in their behavior, that needs to be addressed. Because as long as conflicts are there, it is not possible for the meditative absorption to happen spontaneously. And those people who do not have any of these conflicts need not go through the progressive approach that we are following in Satyananda Yoga Center for a common man. The basic level course, then the second level course, then the Sadhana Shibiram. Up to Sadhana Shibiram, we are primarily covering the different aspects of Hatha Yoga. And we are introducing you to the concepts, disciplines and approaches of Raja Yoga. In Raja Yoga, mind management, energy management and body management has already been done. And for such people, they can work upon mind management. Because Rishi Patanjali and the other Raja Yoga scriptures and traditions of Raja Yoga, which have been made available by Shukracharya, the Daitya Guru. See, after all, Raja Yoga, mind management is required for asuras. And body management, energy management is required for those who are diseased. Vyadhigara. Mana Vyadhi, Prana Vyadhi, Sharira Vyadhi. If you do not have any of these, you don't even require the practices of Raja Yoga. Hatha Yoga prepares a person for Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga prepares a person for Antaranga Yoga, the inner dimensions of Yoga, which are discussed and described in detail in the Tantra Shastras, in the Upanishadic meditations, where a person spontaneously is able to absorb oneself in meditation. That is why these days, when we see that there are a lot of Vedanta classes happening all over the country. See, there are some major traditions that are offering courses on Vedanta. They begin from Tattva Bodha, then they give an introduction to Vedanta, then they introduce Bhagavad Gita. After that, they introduce the Upanishads. And after Upanishads, they introduce Brahma Sutra. And if a person has completed all of this, then they can do the bhashyams of the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads and Brahma Sutra by Adiguru Shankaracharya or by Ramanujacharya or by Madhvacharya or their disciples. So these are the courses that are available. There are Sri Vaishnavas who are known as Ubhaya Vedantis. They have a prefix like an initial to them. They will call themselves as Uve Jayagopal Swami. That means they have gone through the study of the Upanishads, of the Bhagavad Gita, of the Brahma Sutras, and the interpretation of these with the help of one of these three acharyas. The study of the Vedanta and the Vedantic sadhana is suitable for a person who already has a mind which gets absorbed in meditation. And for those who have problems in their mind, who have a tamasic mind, who have a rajasic mind, for them, the practices of Raja Yoga are suitable. And the practices of Raja Yoga are available in the Bhakti Marga, in the Tantra Marga. They are available in Raja Yoga itself, as offered by several yoga centers, where the qualities of the mind, the positive, healthy, uplifting qualities of the mind have to be developed. But at this stage, we are not covering that portion for you now. We are teaching a yoga which is necessary for physical and vital management. And that is the system of Hatha Yoga. Thousands of years before, the visionaries of yoga, they realized that the human being will have a very weak mind. He will not even be like an asura. See, asuras were very strong people. We are not even asuras. We are afraid. We are full of insecurity, fear. We need to first of all become strong, healthy people. And in Hatha Yoga, that is a promise given to a person who is a Hatha Yogi. If you read in the second chapter of Hatha Yoga, Swatma Rama, the author, promises that a person who practices the Kechari Mudra becomes free of all diseases. It is very elaborately explained, glorified, that how Hatha Yoga ensures great health. But there is a misunderstanding that Hatha Yoga is only meant for physical practice. There is a misnomer, a misunderstanding that it is purely a physical discipline. It was Sri Swami Satyananda who delved deep into the system of Hatha Yoga. It was his Guru Swami Shivananda, who was a master of Hatha Yoga, who gave the secrets to Sri Swami Satyananda in his method of transmission. Another day I will explain what happened, how the transmission happened, because I do not want to deviate to that topic today. So Swami Shivananda, who was a great scientist, who had great knowledge of anatomy, physiology, also developed a great understanding of the system of Indian Vedic, Vedantic, yogic view of the human personality. And he did not restrict himself to the idea that this human being is a brain and nerves and organs and blood and cells and tissues. He realized that modern medicine is not in a position to remove the maladies of human being. Therefore, he took to the understanding of Ayurveda and Yoga. And if you read through his books on Hatha Yoga and Ayurveda, you will understand the depth of understanding he had. A glimpse of it only he has given in the books. So of course, his understanding would have been much deeper. And after that, Sri Swami Satyananda has done so much research on this topic. And there are a few lectures that Sri Swami Satyananda has given. The audios and videos of them are available in Satyam Yoga Prasad. If you care to know more about Hatha Yoga, you can go to Satyam Yoga Prasad, register yourself with an email ID, have an access to those archives, and the ashram has been generous to put everything up there for free. You don't have to pay a pie to listen to these talks. And Sri Swami Satyananda has very elaborately created a methodology based on his understanding. And he says Hatha Yoga is the management of the Ida and the Pingala and the Sushna. We have these three forces in us. The Ida Nadi, through which the component of mental function flows into the human body and into every life form in this world. All of us are mental in nature. We have mind stuff. If that mind stuff is not there, if that mental component is not there, then we will not be able to identify and feel that I am me. We'll never be able to say that this is what I am, this is me. See, these talks that we are providing you are for giving you a deep, clear understanding. You have to sit and listen to this. You can't be involved in something else while you are listening to these talks. You have to listen, internalize, think about it, get doubts, clarify them. Practices related to that you have to do, and you have to verify for yourself whether what has been said is true. It is not based on some belief. Ramar ka patwar, Krishna ka patwar, Allah ka patwar, Murugar ka patwar. It's not based on belief. The system of yoga is a verifiable system, but it requires application of mind, sincerity, commitment, seriousness. For most people, these things are not there. Most people attend the session, they do not know why they are attending the session. They attend the session but do not apply their mind in depth. It is nice. Some people attend because it's nice. Some people attend because at least 4 hours they are free from whatever they are doing. But you have to attend these sessions and listen to these talks with total commitment. Again and again listen to them and then think about it. Then correlate this with your practice. See, always when you go and do a checking of a blood sample or an X-ray or a scan or anything, they will always say correlate this with the medical practice. Like that, you have to do your own personal practice. Only then you will be able to verify what we are saying from your own realization. So Hatha Yoga is a system that works on your Ida, Pingala and Sushma. And the Ida is the flow of the mental component, which is not your ownership. It is a gift from nature to you. You think that, I am so and so, I will not agree this, I will not agree that. You are able to think like that, feel like that, identify like that because Ida flow is given to you. If nature did not give Ida flow, then the mental component that this is me, this is my understanding, this is my feeling, these things will not be there. And Ida flows into everything in life. Whatever has life, whatever is there in this creation, all of it is pervaded by Ida. Everything has a mental component. You take a chemical, for example. You take a benzene ring, for example. How does the benzene ring know that it has to arrange itself in this way? It is able to always arrange itself in that particular format. How does a leaf of a rose plant know that it should have the formation like this? How does the petal of the rose always appear in a particular form? The problem with science is science thinks that the gene can be modified. They want a rose smelling flower which will look like a jasmine. They want to change the Ida mental function, and they want to combine it with the energy of something else. They want to make what looks like a jackfruit but will taste like an orange. They are trying to do a modification of the gene. For cutting purpose, it may be very convenient, so they may want a rectangular jackfruit. And because they are building a factory which has got a rectangular blade which is of this size, they may want all the jackfruits of the same size. It is messing up with the cosmic flow of Ida, the mental component. Let them try what they are trying. They will come to an understanding at some point of time. What I am telling you is you are having the flow of Ida into your system, and which allows you to have a mental identity, your emotions, your intellect, your memories, your self-image. These are the peripheral lower aspect of that Ida flow. The Ida has a higher mental aspect which is called as Vijnana. It is the same Ida flow which provides for the Vijnana, but it is merged with, it is only when Ida and Pingala merge with Sushma that Vijnana becomes available for a person's realization. Till then they have only flashes of Vijnana, intuitive flashes they call it, gut feeling they call it. And we also have another major flow happening in this whole universe. Today morning when we did Surya Namaskara, we meditated upon that. That is the Pingala flow. And when we did the Shavasana after the Surya Namaskara, we did the Ida flow. The practices of Hatha Yoga are arranged in such a beautiful manner that the Ida and the Pingala, the Ida and the Pingala, the Ida and the Pingala, these two are continuously invoked. And what happens is, as a result of this, stimulation of these two forces, they become balanced. Tarasu, the scale. You have the right side and the left side, and they keep on oscillating. And when they have been balanced, then you find that the center that becomes active. The weight is not on this side, the weight is not on that side, the whole weight is on the center. Pingala provides the matter energy component in our personality. If Pingala is not there, you can't move a hair. You can't move a finger. You can't even open and close your eyelids. You can't even move your lips. Where is the question of speaking? What you speak is a flow of Ida, and you speak is a flow of Pingala. You have to realize these two. It is the movement of energy that comes out in the form of sound, and it comes from different places in the body. And those places are invoked because those thought processes emanate from those places in the body. So there is a continuous play of these two forces, Ida and Pingala. A thing is conceived and a thing is delivered. A thing is conceived and a thing is created. Everything that is created has already been conceived. Everything that is conceived becomes meaningful only when it is created. The manifestation in matter, space and time happens with the help of Pingala force. The conception of it and ideation of it happens in the dimension of the Ida. So if you have a lacuna in these two, if you have a lacuna in your Ida, then your ideation, your understanding, your concept, your memory of things will not be clear, will be disturbed. And this Ida and Pingala function in the cellular level also, in the tissue level also, in the organ level also, in the body level also. It is the combination of this Ida and Pingala that the elements are created. This whole universe, all this creation is just a play of these two, Ida and Pingala. Consciousness and energy. Mind and matter. Shiva and Shakti. Vishnu and Lakshmi. Brahma and Saraswati. Deho devalayah prokta, jivo devah sanatanaha. Inside this body, here itself, the divine is living. The abode of the divine is this body itself. Irukkum idathai vittu illada idam thedi engengo alaigendrai ஞானத்தந்தை. ஐந்தெழுத்து மந்திரத்தை சிந்தையிலே நினைக்க ஐயனவன் ஆட்டம் அங்கு தோணுமே, ஆதார நாத ஓசை கேட்குமே. உந்துகிற குண்டலியை உச்சி வடி கொண்டு வர ஐயன் அவன் ஆட்டம் அங்கு தோணுதே. So the combination of these two are creating a lot of impact upon this body, which is made of the most suitable instrument. And the human instrument has got 6 important psychic centers, locations, where this Ida and Pingala merge with Sushumna. There are these 6 places where all the 3 are present. Gupta Vahini, Saraswati. If you go to Himalayas, you will find that Ganga, three flows of Ganga confluence at the Devaprayag. That's why it's called Prayag. In fact, when you go to Kumbh Mela, it is because of the confluence of the three rivers, in which two rivers are visible. One is Gupta Vahini, the invisible. It is called as the Saraswati. And Ajna is the location where these three merge. And it is the Ajna that is the center for the realization. And it is because of this uniqueness of the human body that we are able to approach the system of Hatha Yoga, because we have this mental component of understanding. It's a very beautiful, unique opportunity we have. After being born as a human being, if you're going to squander this life in eating, in sex, in pleasures, in protecting oneself, then it's as good as a dog's life. The dog goes pees around in different locations to mark its boundary. It's because it's afraid that somebody will come and disturb me, affect me, hurt me, spoil my life. But the human life cannot be wasted like the dog's life. It has to be used for the genuine purpose of realizing the true nature. If that is the goal of life, then Hatha Yoga supports that individual.